And of course, today we are looking at simple ways. How do we get sales? How do we create sales, especially in these troublous times post COVID? Are sales still possible? We are Sales Connect, and we connect to learn, we connect to earn. Of course, it's Sales Connect podcast, and of course, it's your man Angel Bahawa. Angel Bahawa, of course, it's my name, and of course, I welcome you viewers and listeners. Every Monday, we will always give you the best, and of course, today, as always, we are Sales Connect, and we connect to learn, we connect to earn. Sales Connect podcast stands for educating you and enabling you earning. Our intention is always to get the best people who have done it well in sales, the business leaders who have made it, and more importantly, even the young people, the ones of your age, where you think it's not possible, but we always search for them and get them to your comfort. Today we are privileged to get a brother friend who is a serial entrepreneur. He has spent some good years in business, and as of course we shall go through, how did he make it. And of course today we are looking at simple ways. How do we get sales? How do we create sales, especially how do we make sales, especially in these troublous times post COVID? Are sales still possible? Most businesses are closing, but of course we always get the best people who will always give you the best knowledge on this. And of course we shall be looking at different things, but what you should have in your mind is how do you create sales, especially in micro, small and medium enterprises. For big enterprises, big companies, you know them, they always make big monies, whether the economy is bad or good. Most of them are monopolies. But how about us who are just starting? Me and you are just starting. How about you? That's why we always labor to get the best young people, old people who have succeeded in the sales and of course in business world. Business world, we think without sales there is no business. So that's why we connect to earn and connect to learn. So in short, we have a gentleman here. He's called Salim. He will be explaining more about himself, but he has established himself as a serial entrepreneur and he has done so many businesses. But of course, today we're just going to be looking simply at Yopsa Finance Services. I know you're having so many other businesses, but for the topic we have, how do you create sales in micro, small, and medium enterprises? I think Yopsa features in very well. So we shall be talking much about that, so that me and you can learn today. How do you generate sales when you are small, when you're medium, or a very small one? Micro is smaller than small. So without further ado, let me get Salim greet us. Who is Salim in business? Who is Salim in real life? And then we can kickstart our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Bahawa. For starters, Swaleh Salim, born and raised from Kasese, southwestern part of Uganda. But I've spent most of my life here in Fort Portal, Hoima, Masindi. In the western part of the country. Happen to be a graduate of business administration and majored in marketing. So marketing is something I really understand, something I've really done, something that I really love to do, because without marketing you can't do anything. I started sales some time back. That is back in 2015. That is when I started real and formal marketing or sales. But I had done some bit of sales in those years of 2013, 2014, because by then I was working with a company that does photography, video coverage for weddings and so on and so forth. So I used to attend those wedding meetings, party meetings, talk to the organizers to see if we can secure a job I mean, to offer them to take their photos, cover their videos.
Yes.
So I've done sales for quite long. We're coming to 10 years.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So as a young and ambitious gentleman, I've tried to establish a number of businesses. These businesses are ranging from farming to baking to
Yes.
now finance related business.
Yes.
I've been in the world of both employment and self-employment.
Yes.
And whether in employment, I've been in sales, I've been in marketing, I've been in operations, and as a businessman, of course, there is no business that can thrive without selling your product or your service.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm a businessman who has done sales as an employee and who is still doing sales as an employer or as a businessman.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a brief I can tell you about Salim.
Okay. Now, Salim, we've gotten you've been in business for now 10 years, especially doing sales.
Yeah, sure.
Now, let us go back to a time when you were still a student.
Yes.
Were you seeing yourself as an entrepreneur, or were you seeing yourself as an entrepreneur, or you realized you got into entrepreneurship by accident?
Well, I must say that just like any other student, every time we're in school, there is that mindset that teachers or lecturers plant into us.
Yes.
We are meant to think that after school I must find a job, must find a well-paying job. I must strive to be promoted from an officer to a manager,
Yes.
to a CEO, until.
Yes.
But later on, I realized that besides being an employee of a certain organization, I can really also create employment for other people.
Yes.
So as time went on, of course, we have to first be employed to get capital, such that we can also invest it somewhere.
Yes.
So as an employee, I started realizing that okay, if these people I'm working for can do this, I can really do it.
Yes.
So gradually I started nurturing entrepreneurship into myself. Yeah.
Now, talking of naturally, you started finding. So you want what I've learned now is that one of the reasons why one should be employed is actually to raise money
Yeah. Sure.
to start a business.
True. That is correct.
Maybe secondly, if I can chip in also, maybe another reason is to gain experience.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you started working with this photographic company,
Yes.
whereby you would just look in people's meetings, get them idea on how they can actually work with you.
Yeah.
So you are selling, obviously.
Yes. That
So
was sales.
and you are working for other
For
people.
other people.
So
True.
in so ways you get an experience.
Yes.
And probably a few networks here and there.
Yeah.
So we want to establish it right now from Salim. There are 3 reasons why one should be employed. 1, to get the money.
Yes.
Of course, you get the salary. If you save some little money, then you can always use it to start your own business. Second, you said experience.
Yeah.
And then lastly, networks, right?
True.
That's what you
That's correct. Maybe if I can give a personal experience.
Yes.
I operate YOPSA Financial Services. YOPSA Financial Services is a microfinance company that offer loans and does medical financing. We offer we pay for medical bills.
Yes.
This idea, I got it when I was still employed with a company called Bayport Financial Services
Yes.
as the manager. We used to Bayport, for those who know it, it's a microfinance company that offers salary loans to civil servants.
Yes.
So as a manager, as someone who had actually grown in position from being a loans officer to a branch supervisor to then a manager, I realized that okay, if this company, if the initiators of this company, if the proprietors can come up with this, I think I can as well come up. I can also come up with one.
Yes.
So basically, because I was employed with Bayport Financial Services, I got the idea. I got to learn the market. I got to also establish a company, register a company from the salaries I was getting from the salary I was getting from Bayport Financial Services.
Yes.
So basically, as we look at entrepreneurship, but we should also understand that there are other preliminary requirements that we must get from employment.
So you are trying to put it right that it's not right for someone to think he should be an entrepreneur before venturing into being an employee, or it is also another way.
Well, it's actually two-way traffic. Okay, for reasons that are best known to me, I would also put it clear that if you have what it takes,
Yes.
like if you have the capital, maybe you have someone to offer you some money, you can immediately from school you can venture into entrepreneurship. But remember,
Yes.
whereas I appreciate that, there are some skills that we don't get from school.
Yes.
There are some experience that we don't get from school.
Yes.
So if you can get a chance to work for a company, whether for a year or 2 or 3,
Yes.
for as long as you know it within you that at the end of the day, this is the path I want to really take. Because yes, you will have the money, but you don't have the experience.
Yes.
You'll have the money, but you don't have the connections.
Yes.
So if you can first take on an employment offer for a short period of time, as you actually sort out a few things here and there. Yeah. So.
Yes. So in short, it is literally very impossible or a little bit difficult for someone to come from school. There are those even who have not come from school. There are those who finished from somewhere and they are venturing into business. It is not easy for you to start a business when you've not offered yourself to work for someone. So I think what I'm learning from you for now, because you started with you later worked with Bayport, and this is a financial institution. You also getting to start your own financial institution. It would be noble of me to think that the experience you got from Bayport is now enabling you to even go beyond what Bayport taught you. So I think the young man or a young woman who is just watching now, if you want to start a business X, can you first volunteer? If you don't want to be even employed.
Yes.
But the best way is you can volunteer and still get paid. So if you want to start a business X, at least as a young man, first pay tribute by working for someone whom you admire his business skills, learn whatever he has to teach through, of course, he will be sending you here and there. And once you know that you've gotten your information or you've learned a few basics of starting a business, now you can use part of the money you are paid to actually start your own business.
Yes,
now, I
however-
want to look at it again. Yes, that is one way.
However, an alternative is that if you feel like, no, I'm not going to waste my time the other side working for someone else, you can then think of hiring an experienced person,
Yes.
someone who has experience in the field that you want to venture in, as you learn from that person.
Now, the question is,
Yes.
how, of course, entrepreneurship is about leadership. Now, how are you going to learn how to even to know that this person is better than me?
Well, the challenge we have as entrepreneurs,
Yes.
we want to be leaders who actually don't want to learn. Yes, we want to be leaders who don't want to learn.
Yes.
In this context, I want you to put yourself in a position
Yes.
where you will only think as a founder, or as a vision bearer.
Yes.
And as a vision bearer, it does not make you a know-it-all.
Yes.
You don't know it all just because you're a vision bearer. Well and good, you have your vision.
Yes.
You want to have something done. You want to have a product on market.
Yes.
You want to have services on market. But still, you don't have ideas. You don't have like a wide idea about a wide knowledge about the idea that you have.
Yes.
Spot someone. You hire someone who has experience. If I wanted to start this company or if this financial institution without any experience, I would then have thought of hiring someone who has worked for a financial institution to come and take over the business development stage of my business,
Yes.
as I learn from that person. Had I not actually been through all the stages, working for microfinance institutions, working for commercial banks, yes, I'm able to lead other teams, whether they're experienced or inexperienced, because I personally have the experience in that world. But
Yes.
if I didn't have the experience, I would then look for someone with the experience.
Now, putting this whole case into Ugandan's perspective,
Yes.
let us not speak like we are Europeans. Ugandans, we have a problem.
Yeah.
We don't want to hire someone who is better than us.
That's true.
The reason is when we get these people into our businesses, actually they find ways of kicking us out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are we going to eliminate this situation? Because a young man who has seen people who have trusted others to run their businesses being kicked out or being squandered of their money. So the biggest question is, how are we going to actually prevent that?
That is caused by a few things. Once you have we call them structure.
Yes.
We call it a structure. You must have systems, processes in place. If I'm bringing Salim on board
Yes.
as a business development manager, I will have Salim will have boundaries.
Yes.
If I'm bringing someone X on board as an accountant, that person will have their
Now
boundaries.
You're speaking of now someone who has just finished university.
Yes.
Relative not go to university. It's
Yeah.
just almost like a few percentage
Yes.
of young people actually finish university. Let's say senior 6, senior 4.
Okay.
How does he know that even there is a business structure somewhere if he has not ventured in first being employed?
Well, I think this also comes back to the nature of business you
Yes.
wanna do,
Yes.
because entrepreneurship, I must say, it's wide.
Yes.
So according to the nature of the business you come up with, states or dictates on what people to have on board, on what structures to have on board. However, just like I said, you must not be a know-it-all.
Yes.
Like if you don't know what to do, think of bringing on board a consultant.
Yes.
There are people in consultancy who help people build businesses from scratch until when the business is sustainable, until when all the structures are in place.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now I think also what I've also learned, ladies and gentlemen who are watching and those who are listening to us right now, is that if you don't venture in first being employed, so that you can learn a few basics in business. The other way, if you have your money, we're also going to into that discussion shortly, is you get people who are better than you, people who are smart, people who have the experience, who have the know-how of what you want to do, and you bring them on your team. Now, your job is to lead these people. Your job is actually not to dictate what they should do. Sometimes you have to, but most of the time, since they know what you don't know, you have to learn. As you're working with smart people, you also end up being what? Smart. So the most important thing is getting smart minds together for you. The other alternative is actually by first venturing in that activity through someone's business, learn a few basics, and then now I want also to go back to how does Salim start from being an employee to transit to an entrepreneur? What was the process? What were the motivation? Is it possible for every person to transit? Because I've seen millions of people fail from being a super employed to actually starting their own businesses, knowing the dynamics in starting a business. Yes.
Salim, my transition from employment to entrepreneurship
Yes.
was really I won't say it was a walk in the park.
Yes.
It was a little bit it was procedure, because I started by identifying what I want to do. What do I really want to do? Where do I want to venture? I've ventured in 2 different businesses.
Yes.
And I must say, as an entrepreneur, you must expect anything at any time. First and foremost, as a young person, holding a very big position. I would call it a very big one, because at my age of 24, I was already a branch sales and operations manager,
Wow.
leading old men and women in my branch.
Yes.
So I started up a small business, a bakery. It was really one of the biggest bakeries around town in Kasese.
Yes.
For those people that may know it, it used to be called Friends Bakery.
Yes.
Because I didn't have expertise in this field, I was actually asked by a friend of mine that there is this business that I think we can really take over. The owner was selling it. I got my money. I paid the business close to 15 million.
Yes.